Vale. Seguro que podemos echarle un vistazo a la tumba de Gabriel.
Tell me more.
You have heard everything about Marie Laveau that a layman might expect to understand.
Bueno, siga contándonos sobre el vudú histórico, por favor.
Tell me more about historical voodoo.
I've given you as much detail as I can, Mr. Knight. Look around the museum if you desire more information.
¿Y el actual?
Tell me about current voodoo.
Many people think of voodoo in terms of magic spells or gree-gree. That kind of practice is actually called hoodoo, and is only a part of true voodoo. Voodoo, the religion, has a strong following in New Orleans. In fact, it is growing quite rapidly. There are several voodoo churches or temples in the city, and others all across the United States. African Americans see it as a tradition all their own. Whites, and there are many in their religion, are attracted to it because they think it is exotic. I, personally, am more interested in the history of voodoo. Some of the new movements are copying Haitian or even African voodoo. But it is the voodoo of New Orleans that I find so intriguing.
Es una mezcla de culturas impresionante, desde luego.
Tell me more about current voodoo.
There are many voodooians in New Orleans. They often do business selling gree-gree, telling fortunes, providing luck, and occasionally misfortune. Perhaps you would like to meet a voodooian.
Porfa.
We refer those who seek a deeper experience with voodoo to a local practitioner, Magenta Moonbeam.
Magenta Moonbeam.
Sure, I'd love to meet her.
Muy bien.
She lives on the corner of Orleans and Dauphine. I will call her and tell her you might stop by.
Great, thanks.
Muchas gracias. Parece bastante majo este hombre.
Tell me more about current voodoo.
You have tapped my resources. My expertise is really historical. Perhaps Ms. Moonbeam can be of further help.
Bueno, creo que vamos a encontrar una buena fuente de información para nuestra novela. Sí.
Is there anything else I should know about voodoo?
Not if your interest is primarily in voodoo. Hoodoo is of interest to those who study rural folk traditions, but it will not aid you in understanding true voodoo.
Mira cómo lo pronuncia.
Is there anything else I should know about voodoo?
Not if your interest is primarily in voodoo. Hoodoo.
Vale. Tiene formas diferentes de pronunciarlo. Creo que una es como vudú y otra es como hoodoo, con V y con H. Pero de eso hablaremos más tarde. ¿Qué me puede decir sobre Nueva Orleans?
What do you think of New Orleans?
It is the only city in the United States as far as I am concerned.
¿Más?
What is it about New Orleans that you so admire?
It has a real culture of its own, Mr. Knight,
Desde luego.
amid the horrid blandness that is Americana. New Orleans alone has a voice.
Sí,
Spoken like a true New Orleanian.
totalmente de acuerdo. Nueva Orleans es única.
Do you have anything else to say about New Orleans?
I have already given you my opinion, Mr. Knight.
Es como la pequeña Europa en Estados Unidos. Realmente. Es una ciudad que merece la pena ver.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Ah, you have perhaps noticed the museum's snake, Mr. Knight. They are beautiful creatures, do you not agree? And the tourists seem to associate them with voodoo.
Is the snake yours? Do you use it in your practice of voodoo?
I admire the spirit of the snake, Mr. Knight, but snakes like the museums can be quite dangerous to handle.
Oh,
You didn't really answer my question.
I think I did, Mr. Knight.
I'd really like to know more about your snake.
There is really nothing more to say, Mr. Knight.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
It is one of the important ceremonial nights in Voodoo.
Interesante.
What else can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
I am afraid I do not know the origins of St. John's Eve. I only know that it was a night of ritual long before Voodoo came to New Orleans.
Coincide con el solsticio de verano, creo.
What else can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
I am afraid I have little else to say about that subject.
Vale. ¿Y qué podéis ancar?
Do you have any idea what Cabri Saint-Gar means?
I fear my French is not all it should be, Mr. Knight.
No ha sonado muy convincente.
You're sure you haven't heard the term Cabri Saint-Gar?
I am sure, Mr. Knight.
You're...
Bueno, y vamos a preguntar sobre el mismo.
Tell me about yourself.
Me?
Yes, if you don't mind.
What is it you wish to learn?
¿Por qué abre un museo de vudú?
Why did you open a voodoo museum?
The subject has fascinated me all my life, and I wanted to help preserve the cultural heritage it represents.
¿Qué tipo de conocimientos de vudú tiene?
What kind of background in voodoo do you have?
Eso.
Let us say that I cut my teeth on it, Mr. Knight. It is in my blood.
¿Alguna otra cosa además de dirigir el museo?
Do you do anything besides run the museum?
No. The museum does not make me a rich man, but my material needs are simple. I prefer to focus on my one true interest in life.
Sí, suena verdaderamente como creéis.
What are your own religious beliefs?
My beliefs are too personal and too complex to discuss with a layman, Mr. Knight.
Y ahora, lo trivial.
Just tell me anything.
I am originally from the West Indies myself, you know.
Really? What brought you to New Orleans?
I was drawn here for personal reasons.
Just tell me.
I am a vegetarian.
Really? I can't imagine living without meat.
That must be the hunter in you, Mr. Knight.
Just tell me anything.
I do not care for small talk, Mr. Knight.
Vale, creo que no nos va a decir más.
Just tell...
I am not an easy person to get to know. I am a very private man.
Isn't that unusual for someone in the museum business?
Not at all. My displays speak for me.
Just tell me anything.
Not everyone can come see the museum, so I occasionally do public speaking on the subject of historical voodoo.
Anything coming up that I might attend?
No. But then, you have me all to yourself right now, do you not?
También es verdad.
Just tell me and...
I am a
Really? Just tell me...
I am...
Really?
Bueno, creo que se va a repetir.
Just...
I do...
Just tell...
I am...
Sí.
Just...
Not everyone...
And... Just tell...
I...
Vale.
Actually, I can't think of a thing.
Then, let us discuss something else.
No, de hecho ya hemos acabado. Muchas gracias por la información. Pero me temo que tendremos que irnos. Y su serpiente...
I'll be going.
Walk carefully out there, Mr. Knight.
Claro. Por supuesto que tendré cuidado. Ah, no, me falta una cosa. Bueno, podremos... De todas maneras. Vamos a la asociación. Vamos a hablar con esa sacerdotisa o pitonisa o lo que sea.
Welcome, Seeker. You must be the one Dr. John called me about.
I guess so. My name is...
Wait, Gabriel Knight?
Sí.
You're too quick for me.
Eso dijo ella.
Actually, Dr. John told me. You have come to the right place, Mr. Knight. Tell me how I can help.
Pues vamos a echar un vistazo a la residencia de la agencia. Pero yo creo que lo vamos a dejar ya. Así que de momento voy a grabar. Como día 2. No. Gracias. Vamos al fin. Vale. Y ponemos día 2. Muy bien. Bueno, tenemos seguramente unos cuantos vídeos, porque no creo que lo ponga en una sola sesión. Así que de momento hasta aquí. Cuidaos y nos vemos en los próximos episodios de Juguemos a Gabriel Knight. Soy Mahamut y espero que os haya gustado. Hasta la próxima.